STAKK Nation, welcome back to the channel.
Champions!
Before we begin here, do not forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon there so that you know YouTube can notify you if they feel like it. What a bunch of clowns. This is not why we signed up for. Hey, YouTube, don't take us down, man. I'm just kidding. Take a joke, okay? Unless you're one of these woke people who just want to cancel everything that is not in your...
Hey,
yeah?
We might get cancelled after this one, though, because this topic here today...
One way or another, we'll get cancelled, man. You can get cancelled for being black. You can get cancelled for being a man. You can get cancelled for being religious. You can get cancelled for not being... The list goes on and on. So,
I'll get cancelled for being a Bitcoiner.
Yeah, I mean, Bitcoiners are already getting cancelled. It is what it is, you know. But what you need to realize is that life goes on. There's only one question. Are you going to fold due to the cancellation, or are you just going to keep trucking on with your life? Because at the end of the day, nobody gives a flying yes. So with that being said, then I would like to just give some credits before we begin this 100. Some of the things that we'll be talking about here.
Choke that credits.
We would definitely like to give some credit to Peter Chawaga. Okay, the guy is it's
a Chihuahua, man. He's backing that up.
Yeah, exactly.
Stop it.
Yeah,
let's jokes.
Skip that one. Yeah. So he writes for Bitcoin Magazine, and this is interesting because this is something we've spoken about previously, and I think that his article here really brought some points together. We're not going to read all of it here, but we recommend you check it out on the Bitcoin magazine website, if you will. So what we're talking about today then is this chokehold situation. As you know, the Biden administration has this way of using this, or at least they come up with all this how they name their operations.
Bidenomics is one of them.
It's stupid as hell. Yeah, Bidenomics, chokehold, whatever I want to call it. Listen, but this all revolves around this what seems like a resurgence of this controversial practice, if you will, which is very identical to Operation Chokehold. Now, for those who do not understand what Operation Chokehold is, I'm going to read you a quote here from Frank Keating. This is the former governor of Oklahoma, right? And so he says, sorry, I think I'm on the right. I was thinking I'm on the right page. I'm not even on the right page. Sorry about that, folks. Every now and then, given that I am only human on Sundays, I'll be making mistakes. So he says the clandestine operation Choke Point had more in common with a purge of ideological foes than a regulatory enforcement action. Frank Keating wrote, a former governor of Oklahoma who served for the Department of Justice during the Reagan administration, in a 2018 editorial for The Hill, it targeted wide swaths of businesses with little regard for whether legal businesses were swept up and harmed. In fact, that seemed to be the goal. This is action from the government of a first world country. Whoever came up with this term of first world, second world, third world.
That's all the classification systems, man.
Well, we are canceling them. You see, now we're participating in cancel culture. And so what happened here was essentially regulations being pushed upon the general public in order to curtail or eliminate an idea that seemed to be a threat to their leadership. We are seeing the same thing again with this cryptocurrency situation. Double up.
I would say the history of this, especially coming from Oklahoma, sounds very familiar. Because if you remember back in the early days of the credit cards,
right,
the banks, the establishments tried to kill that innovation at the time.
I remember this.
Credit card survived that.
So it survived because they took over it. Yeah.
Exactly, because the banks took over it.
Yeah.
So the same thing that applies here is that this guy has seen it before. Frank has seen all of this before, and he's saying there's one thing for a government to be vindictive,
Yeah.
but there's also another thing for the government to do illegal things like monopolizing an innovation or intentionally canceling
Yeah,
an innovation because you don't have control over it,
absolutely.
creating regulations to kill it.
Yeah, and I think as they do these things, what people really need to recognize is what is your right as a human being, because at some point you have to really go back to the basics. When we look at an asset that has never existed before, operates in a way that we've never seen any other thing on earth operate, right? So decentralized. We must ask ourselves, how do these people know what are the proper regulations around at least things like something like Bitcoin, which is very important to make this distinction. And we're going to continue to make this distinction because at the end of the day, at least at this point, we know that all the attacks on Bitcoin so far have failed. And these people are resorting to what is their best option, which is this social engineering. Misinforming people. Today, we literally have people who believe that Biden's economy is doing great. How is that possible?
Or that we're not in a recession.
We have people who voted against Trump simply because it was Trump. You must go back and recalibrate your mind and ask yourself, why did I do that? Because to me, and this is just me, the option was not close. But to each their own. You can let me know in the comments if you disagree, and I'll come back to you with my response. Now, talking about these renewed efforts to essentially choke out the crypto space, right? Because this is what all of the new regulations that will be, some of the new regulations we're seeing right now, is intended to hinder cryptocurrency related businesses. In fact, it has raised concerns even in the Bitcoin space and the broader ecosystem of cryptocurrency. Some of these regulations we're talking about, we saw that the federal regulators introduced policies discouraging banks from dealing with cryptocurrencies.
Yes.
I think that's kind of clear cut. I mean, what else is there to explain there? It seems to me that that is against freedom, simply put. The freedom to choose, the freedom to do what you will with your money. You see, it does not matter at the end of the day. If you put your money in a scam coin, it is your choice. You should be allowed to do that. I get it. There is a downside of it and everything else like that. But this is why, when you're a kid, if you go to touch your pot, your parents move your hand from it. So you learn. Down the line, if you decide that this is what you like, you can do that. The government should not be coming to babysit anyone, because when the government babysits people, this is how we end up with CBDCs.
CBDCs or communism.
Okay. January 27th, 23, we see that the White House released a roadmap to mitigate cryptocurrencies risk.
I think we did a video about that earlier in the year.
We definitely did.
And we broke it down. I think they had like a 7-step.
Yeah. All of it was garbage. February 7th. Well, actually, let me take that back. Not all of it was garbage. Everything related to cryptocurrencies probably needs to happen. Bitcoin-wise, February 7th, the Federal Reserve pushes a rule to the Federal Register regarding crypto assets.
I would like to use this opportunity to tell folks that the Federal Reserve is not a government institution. It's a private institution, but the branding allowed it to make it look as if it's a federal institution.
Yeah.
And what we see here is that the banks, the central banks, that our senates and our regulators have not put in charge of the country's money, now manipulates and write regulations and rules to protect their own money in the system. That is why you say, crypto is a financial threat to the American economy. How is that the case? Is crypto or Bitcoin a financial threat to your establishment? I think that should be what the facts are here.
If you're crying on TikTok right now, I'd like to point out one thing to you. Fiat is a direct threat to your well-being, your financial inflation. The Federal Reserve, currently a threat to your well-being. But then again, why don't you know that? it's time to study. I think I'm not really trying to be harsh, because realistically, when you look at it, I'm just saying a sentence that is just straight facts. All right. But I think people have been coddled so much that we're now at a point where it's time to rip off the band-aid, to be honest. Because tap dancing around these things at this point in time does not help anyone.
Mm-hmm.
If you do not educate yourself on these things, you're going to lose. Okay? Listen, I might lose too, but I'll go down fighting. You, yeah, there's no hope. Anyway, a proposed excise tax, if you will, on cryptocurrency mining has also been suggested. Right?
Again, so if you don't win through rules and regulations and using your instruments in the system, in the banks, you then go using what you think you have authority over, which is taxes,
right?
And then try to kill it from another angle.
Yeah, and I think all the increase, I was going to say this increase in tax is part of the thing that is causing so much issues for people right now. But really, they don't really need to increase your taxes. They can just raise inflation or raise interest rates, things like that, where it's really a backdoor way or a roundabout way of still taking money from you without directly taxing you. Again, I keep going back to this situation of people crying on TikTok because it's an interesting phenomenon. You're all crying on TikTok. Stop it. Okay? You have to actually get up. What is that thing that people always say? When you're down, that's when you have to fight?
Well,
or you have to keep fighting, especially when you're down. When you're down, look for a solution.
I think they're fighting the wrong people. They're all fighting Biden. They don't even know what their real big fight is.
The big fight starts in your mind. It's really what you wanna, yeah. Now, here's the thing. They're coming up with Operation Choke Point 2.0. I mean, like,
it's ongoing right now.
I'm actually not surprised that Biden's name is on this thing. It definitely looks like something Biden's name will be on. Listen to this. Operation Choke Point. Jeez, what is going on with this word? Operation Choke Point 2.0 refers to the coordinated effort by the Biden administration and your financial regulators to suffocate our domestic crypto economy. That is the president of the country saying they're trying to suffocate innovation within the economy. I get it. There's been a lot of scams, but I think you guys could handle this with a bit more maturity, sophistication, etc., etc. Okay, choking out or suffocating the domestic crypto economy, and they're doing this by essentially debanking the industry and serving entrepreneurs from the capital flight. Yeah.
People like exiting the system, trying to find an alternative solution. Like, nope, no exit points.
Exactly.
Close the gates. Keep them locked up.
Exactly. So they're severing entrepreneurs from the capital necessary to invest here in America.
Mm-hmm.
That's actively killing your own economy, it seems like.
Yep.
So U.S. Senator Bill Hagerty, a member of the Committees on Banking and Appropriations, told the Bitcoin magazine, it appears that financial regulators have bought into the false narrative that cryptocurrency-focused businesses solely exist to facilitate or conduct illicit activities, and they seem blind to the opportunities for the potential innovations and new businesses that can be built. Long time ago, we did a video on how empires fall. Mm-hmm. One critical point in their failure is that they all lost sight of the reality within their own nation.
Yep.
They started thinking that their own ideas are superior, right? And now you start flying too close to the sun. That is when people wake up. As much as I'm saying, sometimes I'm just kind of like very, brash with some of the things I'm saying. The reality is people are not stupid. And I'm just impatient of waiting for people to wake up. Honestly. Because at the end of the day, when the solutions comes through, we all get to benefit from it. So why are you still choosing to be stupid?
what I would like to add to about the stability.
Go for it.
The Biden administration's financial regulators. If you do just a little bit digging, just scratch the surface.
Yeah.
You realize that those are literally just the big banks. They're already the establishments.
Yeah, everything is we've been robbed.
The old recycling door between BlackRock and Blackstone and the White House, and them literally trying to shut you down from your exit from the constant disruption of your value. Literally, it's that simple.
Maximum collusion.
But people are not asking the right questions.
It's to the point where they're not even hiding it anymore. They're just doing these things. It does not really matter.
And you call it a democracy.
Exactly. Here is what we suggest. Okay. Here is our recommendation. Here is what we are doing and what we continue to do. We suggest engaging your elected officials. We do this for a lot of things. At some point in time, this will rise to the top. I mean, look at Vivek in the presidential election talking about Bitcoin. Look at the mayor of Florida. These are things that we never thought were going to happen. And of course, New York seems like the graveyard of anything crypto.
Anything innovation right now, man. New York is just dying a slow death.
Exactly. Now, the other thing we need to do is to ensure that we are making a clear distinction when we talk about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Because at the same time, we get it. Crypto space as a whole, as you guys know, I'll speak for myself, I'm not necessarily a strong fan of everything in that space. Okay?
Facts, majority of them are fraudulent. Yes, they are right when you talk about that. But funny enough, majority of them are also ex-bankers.
Yeah.
Exiting the banking system for the unregulated banking space for them to take advantage of people.
I mean, if you could think of any banker's wet dream, it would be to be able to like do the most vile stuff to the market with no regulations and no consequences.
Yep.
And I think that they've probably already done that, because at the end of the day, okay, if the crypto space is unregulated, how can you imprison anyone for taking any sort of action in that space? When, think about this, dude. If you were Sam Bankman-Fried's lawyer, okay, and this guy does not want to go to prison, and you're imprisoning this guy for defrauding people in an environment that is, well, I get it, like from the point where, you know, they're sending the money. Yes, fine, you can say that is
BlackRock sent him $500 million.
Exactly. BlackRock sent FTX $500 million.
Yes.
And
you would think BlackRock would do the proper investigation. So that tells you a lot.
I think BlackRock would definitely do the proper investigation. I refuse to believe that BlackRock did not do the proper investigation. That would be insane.
Okay.
That would be insane.
So they knew what they were doing the entire time.
Yes. Now, let's push on here. Another thing that you have to remember is Bitcoin's unique properties, such as the decentralization and that limited supply. Okay. We've just heard of the Federal Reserve sending some
billions of dollars.
Yeah, suggestions for regulation.
Oh yeah, that's
right. And these are people who have this capability of printing more money, devaluing your value or your currency, if you will.
Yep.
Yet we have this thing sitting here where the supply is limited. They cannot print any more of it. It will be 21 million coins forever and ever. But you know what? I can almost assure you, some people are going to go buy this ETF or derivative sort of situation going on. We don't know the full story about that. I cannot really say that this is the answer or the solution to whatever. I get it.
Say that. They did the same thing to the old credit card industry. They took it over. So that's what they are trying to do with the ETF.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that people are going to go that path instead.
Yeah.
Right. But I think for the most part, these people cannot print, they cannot control what do I mean by for the most part. For the most part, people are going to be probably be using these products that they're going to come up with, which is products that they can control, which brings you right back to where you started in many ways. Right. Now, some things to pay attention to globally. We also know that the IMF, International Monetary Fund, has been forcing some developed nations to not adopt cryptocurrencies.
For sure, you can't escape them.
Okay.
They want to keep you
Yes,
underneath their neck,
under their thumb.
their
Exactly.
thumb, or everything.
But we saw that El Salvador, which went ahead and adopted a Bitcoin, has actually been in a great place to pay back most of what the IMF gave to them, which again is printed money out of thin air. What does the IMF do to generate revenue? I'm still uncertain. Maybe you guys can let me know down in the comments. And of course,
Argentina is slowly creeping towards it as well
exactly.
with their new presidential candidate.
But before we wrap up this video, I want you to catch this kicker here. According to this same group of people, this blockchain technology and crypto is bad. Okay. In fact, we read the quote there where it said most of these regulators have bought into this idea that cryptocurrency and Bitcoin is only used for illicit activities. Are you familiar with UBS?
I'm familiar with BIS.
No,
Bank of International Students.
No, not even that. Just
UBS the bank.
UBS the bank.
Yeah.
Okay.
Barclays.
Yes, there's UBS, there's Barclays, there's another one that actually stems out of China. I'm forgetting the name right now. Okay.
Funny how they are all banks.
Yeah, they're all banks, right? But the thing is, this is, for one, this institution, it's a well-known thing across the financial world right now that these banks set up accounts and store money and launder money for elites.
Super rich people.
Okay, so they're doing it actively. They're doing it for not even just well, I guess these people are also super rich, but criminals, straight up criminals. Like this is the head of the cartel and he has a bank. It is known.
Eating away.
Yeah. At the same time, okay, these people are also creating a CBD. Well, they're already working on implementing CBDCs. CBDCs, which is a crypto, which is blockchain technology, which they believe is only used for illicit activities.
Funny how that goes, huh?
Exactly. I just wanted to bring that one full circle.
Everything else is illicit except for ours.
Yes.
Which we already know we're already doing illicit type stuff. But we want you under our umbrella, so follow our own.
What does that tell you? Okay. If you have a brain, listen, I'm not here to explain.
Connect the dots.
What does that tell you? I don't want to add anything else to that. Double up. Anything else?
I think you said it all.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, okay, if you look at this handle down here, you will see that our channel is there. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, okay, and of course hit that notification bell. Be sure to share it with your friends as well, especially the ones that you recognize as stupid. You're like, this guy needs to wake up.
Oh, you mean the one crying on Twitter and TikTok?
Listen, man, I'm not trying to make fun of people who are crying on TikTok, but I've run out of sympathy. Okay, there's a certain point in time when it's time to take action. That time is now, and that action is not crying on TikTok. Follow us on Twitter. We are there at STAKK, and of course on Spotify as well. We're also on Nostr at STAKK. So, with no further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you found this entertaining, informative, or maybe just motivational. Okay. Until next time, brazen up.
The establishments have monopolized your money. They've paid the cronies and government to take over your store value. It's your time to wake up.